Hey everybody, this is WireDogSec back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are continuing on with the TryHackMe Advent of Cyber 2024 event. This is day number 2. One man's false positive is another man's potpourri. And we are going to go ahead and just dive into this task. It's going to be talking about log analysis apparently. Hopefully you'll have an awesome day today and ready to learn something, so let's go ahead and dive into it. The story. It's the most wonderful time of the year again, and it's also the most stressful day for Wareville's Security Operations Center, known as the SOC team. Despite the overwhelming alerts generated by the new and noisy rules deployed, Wareville's SOC analysts have been processing them nonstop to ensure the safety of the town. However, the SOC analysts are now burning out of all the workload needed before Christmas. Numerous open cases are still pending, and similar alerts are still firing repeatedly, making them think of the possibility of false positive out of all this mess. Now help the awesome Wareville SOC team analyze the alerts to determine whether the rumor is true that Mayor Malware is instigating chaos within the town. True positives or false positives. In a SOC, events from different devices are sent to the SIM, which is the single source of truth where all the information and events are aggregated. Certain rules, detection engineering rules, are defined to identify malicious or suspicious activity from these events. If an event or set of events fulfills the condition of a rule, it triggers an alert. A SOC analyst then analyzes the alert to identify if the alert is a true positive (TP) or a false positive (FP). An alert is considered a TP if it contains actual malicious activity. On the flip side, if the alert triggers because of an activity that is not actually malicious, it is considered a FP. This might seem very simple in theory, but practically separating TPs from FPs can be a tedious job, and that's absolutely true. It can sometimes become very confusing to differentiate between an attacker and a system administrator. All right, you have some images here. This looks bad. Oh, how sophisticated. It must be an APT. Oh, it's just the system administrator. Making a decision. While it is confusing to differentiate between TPs and FPs, it is very crucial to get it right. If a TP is false to classify as a FP, it can lead to a significant impact from a missed cyber attack. If an FP is falsely classified as a TP, precious time will be spent focusing on the FP, which might lead to less focus on an actual attack. Do we ensure how exactly do we ensure that we perform this crucial job effectively? We can use the below pointers to guide us using SOC superpower. The SOC has a superpower. When you are unsure whether an activity is performed by a malicious actor or a legitimate user, they can just confirm with the user. That's right, it's called trust but verify. This privilege is not available to the attacker. A SOC analyst, on the other hand, can just send an email or call the relevant person to get confirmation of a certain activity. In mature organizations, any changes that might trigger an alert in the SOC often require change requests to be created and approved through the IT change management process. Depending on the process, the SOC team can ask the users to share change request details for confirmation. Surely, if it is a legitimate and approved activity, it must have been an approved change request. Well, it depends on the organization and how squared away they are. A lot of organizations don't have the IT 101 or the IT basics down, such as an accurate inventory of IT software and hardware, also with service accounts, stuff like that. Like a lot of organizations are just lacking in the documentation area when it comes to things like that, and it can make it a pain in the neck to track down the root cause to determine if it's a legitimate activity or if it's something out of the ordinary, malicious, what have you. Context. While it might seem like using the SOC superpower makes things super easy, that is not always the case. There are cases which can act as kryptonite to the SOC superpower. If an organization does not have a change request process in place, the performed activity was outside the scope of the change request or was different from that of the approved change request, the activity triggered an alert, such as copying files to a certain location, uploading a file to some website, or failed log into a system. An insider threat performed an activity that they are not authorized to perform, whether intentionally or unintentionally. A user performed a malicious activity via social engineering from a threat actor. In such scenarios, it is very important for the SOC analyst to understand the context of the activity and make a judgment call based on their analysis skills and security knowledge. While doing that, or doing so, the analyst can look at the past behavior of the user or the prevalence of a certain event or artifact throughout the organization or a certain department. For example, if a certain user from the network team is using Wireshark, there is a chance that other users from the same team also use Wireshark. However, Wireshark, seen on a machine belonging to someone from HR or finance, should rightfully so raise some eyebrows. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, be sure to hit that notification bell. Alright, so you know every time I post a new video. As you can see here, most people that view my videos, view my channel, are not subscribed. Now, if you do subscribe, it will help me get into the YouTube algorithm so that we can continue to grow our glorious community here. As always, thank you all for taking the time to watch. Have a nice day and enjoy the video. And that's true. Like as they said here, you have to, trust but verify. And it depends on context. I've seen Wireshark was installed on machines for non-IT folks because there's a help desk person working on that machine and they forgot to remove Wireshark from that machine after they got done working on it. Correlation. When building the context, the analyst must correlate different events to make a storyline or story or timeline. Correlation entails using the past and future events to recreate a timeline of events. When performing correlation, it is important to note down certain impact or important artifacts that can then be used to connect the dots. These important artifacts can include IP addresses, machine names, usernames, hashes, file paths, etc. Correlation requires a lot of hypothesis or creation and ensuring that the evidence supports the hypothesis. A hypothesis can be something like the user downloaded malware from a spoof domain. The evidence to support this can be proxy logs that support the hypothesis that a website was visited. The website used a spoofed domain name and a certain file was downloaded from that website. Now let's say we want to identify whether the malware executed through some vulnerability in an application or a user intentionally executed the malware. To see that, we might look at the parent process of the malware and the command line parameters used to execute the said malware. If the parent process is Windows Explorer, we can assume the user executed the malware intentionally, or they might have been tricked into executing it via social engineering. But if the parent process is a web browser or a word processor, we can assume that the malware was not intentionally executed, but it was executed because of a vulnerability in the said application. Is this a TP or an FP? Similar to every SOC, the analyst in the Wareville SOC also need to differentiate TPs from FPs. This becomes especially difficult for them near Christmas when the analysts face alert fatigue. High chances of misclassification of TPs into FPs and vice versa are present in such times. The analysts therefore appreciate any help they could get from us in this crucial time. To make matters worse, the office of the mayor has sent the analyst an alert informing them of multiple encoded PowerShell commands run on their systems. Perhaps we can help with that. All right, connection details, and it says, do I need to start a VM today? Yes, which I have already started it. Is there a direct link available? Yes. All right, start the machine here, click the green button here, which I've already done. It says once the machine is up and running, we connect to ElastiSim by visiting this URL here, which I have pulled up in another tab. In the browser with the following credentials, once we log in, we can click the menu in the top left corner, click Discover to see the events. Now with this, I did run into some error. I was running into a 502 bad gateway error. All right, I had to wait probably about 10 minutes after the machine had fired up and then kept refreshing the page. And then fortunately, I was able to get through with the connection. Maybe that's because there's a lot of people trying to take a look at this task. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to try to get both of these on the screen here. So let's go ahead and try to do that real quick. As you can see, I have logged into this ElastiSim. You click the hamburger icon, click Discover here, and now we need to go down and find the dates. This is according to the alert sent by the mayor's office. The activity occurred on December 1st between 0900 and 0930. We can set this as our time window by clicking the time frame settings in the upper right corner. Note that we need to click the absolute tab and set the exact time frame we want to view. Lastly, click the update button to apply the changes. Okay, so this is the first part of it here. And we're going to set this to 0900 for the start time. And we're under absolute. Okay, looks good. Second one, 0930, absolute. All right, looks good. There we go. And then click update. And let's see here. After updating these settings, we see 21 events in the mentioned time frame. See here, 21 hits. Okay, same thing as you can see there. Uh, in their current form, these events don't look very easily readable. We can use the fields in the left pane to add columns to the results and make them more readable. Just hovering on the field name in the left pane will allow adding that column or field as a column as shown below. So let's see if we can go ahead and do that here. All right, I had to flip back over to this full view and make everything easier to look through. Now we have to go in and find these filters. Since we're looking for events related to PowerShell, we would like to know the following details about the logs, the host name, where the command was run, so we can use the host.hostname field column for that. The user performed the activity. We can use the user.name field as a column for the information. We can add the event.category field to ensure we're looking at the correct event category. To know the actual commands run using PowerShell, we can add the process.command underscore line field. Finally, to know if the activity succeeded, we will add the event.outcome field. So let's go ahead and do that here. And sure, it's in alphabetical order, so we can just go through and just select this way, right? Yeah. So we need host.name, add that. What was the second one? User.name, event.category. So let's see here, user.name, and then it was events.category. Okay, there we go. Next one's process.command line. There we go here. And this last one was event.outcome. All right, looks good to go here. Okay. Once we have added these fields as columns, we see the results in a format like this. Okay, and that's exactly what we see on our end here. Looks a lot neater to look through. Okay, let's continue on. Interesting. So it looks like someone ran the same encoded PowerShell command on multiple machines. Another thing to note here is that before the execution or each execution of the PowerShell command, we can see an authentication event which was successful. And this looks like what we're supposed to be seeing here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here. And yes, there's the process here. And then you minimize this. There we go. Yep, authentication, process authentication. There we go. Okay, there's a lot of it going on there. You can see here, remote wares updates.ps1 is where it started. It says this activity is observed individually on each line, and the time difference between the login and PowerShell commands looks very precise. Best practices dictate that named accounts are used for any kind of administrative activity so that there is accountability and attribution for each administrative activity performed. The usage of a generic admin account here also seems suspicious. When asking the analyst to perform or informed us that this account is used by two administrators who were not in the office when this activity occurred. Something is definitely not right. Are these some of Glitch's shenanigans? Is Christmas in danger? We need to find out who ran these commands. Let's also try the source.ip field as a column to find out who ran the PowerShell command. So let's go ahead and do that. Source.ip. Awesome. Now you can see IP address. So you can just go and look up, see what internal system this possibly belongs to. So let's flip back over. So since the source IP is only available for the authentication events, we can filter out the process events to see if there's a pattern. To that, we can hover over the event.category field in one of the process events. We will see the option to filter out or filter only for this value plus sign or filter out the value minus sign as seen below. Let's filter for authentication events by clicking the plus sign beside it to show only those in the results here. So it looks something like that. All right, so let's go ahead and give this a shot. And authentication, there's the plus sign, filter for value. Okay, I just clicked it. There we go. And there's a lot of them in here. Service underscore admin. As a result, you can see the output only renders the authentication event. Since the result does not give info insights, let's remove it for now. You can do this by clicking the X beside the filter. So let's go ahead and try that. And let's see, I guess we have to go over here. And oh, it's up there. Okay. It was called, make sure I spelled this right. Event.category. Okay. I'm blind. It's right here. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's see. Since the time frame we previously used was for the PowerShell events, and the authentication events might have been coming from that or from before that. We will need to expand the search to understand the context in the historical events for this user. Let's see if we have any events from the user from the 29th of November to the 1st of December, updating the time filter for these days. The results look something like this. Remember to remove the event.category filter for the steps. Remember to do that, okay, like I just did. And they went to November 29th at 000 to December 1st, 2330. So let's go ahead and do that here. So we're going to go back to December 29th, all zeroed out, then to today, or to the 1st, 2330. Okay, and updates like that. Okay, and 6,814 hits, same thing here. All right, looks like we're good to go. Whoa, there have been more than 6,800 events in these 3 days, and we see a spike at the end of the logs. However, even though we use the time filter for the day end on the 1st of December, we see no events after a successful PowerShell execution. There have also been a lot more authentication events in the previous days than on the 1st of December. To understand the events further, let's filter out our user dot name, what the service underscore admin, source IP is going to be the 10.0.11.11 to narrow our search. Okay, I guess we just, okay, it looks like that. So let's go ahead and try that here. So user dot name, like so, and equals this here. Okay, and source IP, there it is, source IP is equal to this here, this 10.0.11.11, and then enter. Just refreshing, and there we go. Okay. Yeah, we got similar results here. 5702, 5702. Awesome. Oh, looks like all these events have been coming from the same user and the same IP address. We definitely need to investigate further. This also does not explain the spike. Let's filter for authentication events first by clicking the plus sign button beside it. All right, so let's navigate back over here and click the plus sign. There we go. So it's running, doing its thing here. Awesome. Okay. Now we have those filtered. Moreover, let's filter out the source IP here to see if we can find the IP address that caused the spike. This can be done by clicking the minus sign beside it. So let's go ahead and do that here. The minus sign, filter out the value. There we go. And it says no results match the criteria. After applying the filters, expect results. Let's see. Authentication. What did I do wrong here? Username, service admin. Hmm. Um, let's try, let's see here. Let's try this again. I'm not sure what happened. Add filter. Okay. I'm not sure if this matters or not, but let's try it in here. Select operator is, okay, sir, what was the name again? Service.admin. Okay. Or service underscore admin. There we go. Okay. And let's see. There we go. That was weird. I don't know why it said nothing was there, but anyway. Okay. So it says scrolling down, we see many events for failed logins. And yes, we do. A lot of failed logins there. We also see that the IP address for the spike ending in .255.1 differs from the one we saw for the events continuously coming in the previous days, which is that 10.IP. The analysts have previously investigated this and found that a script with expired credentials was causing this issue. However, that script was updated with a fresh set of credentials. Anyhow, this might just be another script, so let's find out. Well, that's strange. Why are you using scripts with usernames and passwords in there? Well, I guess we're going to find that out. Let's remove the source IP filter so we can focus on authentication events. close to the spike. After applying the new filter, we can see that the failed login stopped a little while after a successful login from the new IP. So let's remove um, the IP filter here. Okay, hit refresh. All right, there we go here. It's like around 8:54 a.m. Let's see. Yes. All right, so we're on the right track here. Just to make it a little bigger for you guys. All right. Our suspicions are rising. It seems that someone tried a brute force attack on December 1st, as shown in the same filters applied above. You can see that here, all these failures. All right. Okay. And we got the same results here. We saw a ton, and then you see you got success right there thrown in there. So there we go there. The results are showed, or the results also showed that they succeeded with the brute force attempt because of the successful authentication attempt and quickly ran some PowerShell commands on the affected machines. Once the PowerShell commands were run, we didn't see any further login attempts. This looks like a true positive. And there needs to be an escalation so that McSkitty can help us respond to this incident. Christmas in danger. The alarms have gone off, and McSkitty has been called to help take this incident further. The analysts have briefed McSkitty about the incident. McSkitty observed that nobody had actually looked at the PowerShell command or what the PowerShell command contained. Since the command wasn't coded, it seems it needs to be decoded. McSkitty changed the filters with this one here, this event.category process, to take a deeper look at the PowerShell commands. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to add another filter here. Okay, and just go ahead and type it in, and we'll type out the next one here. Event.category is process. Okay, save it, refresh. And did they take something out? Yes, they did. Take all this stuff out. Okay, I'm gonna hit that refresh just in case. All right, there we go. All right, and we should have the same thing here, 12 hits, 12 hits, okay. We can see the PowerShell command in the process.line or command line field. It looks like this here, and that's what we see here. It's encoded command, and I'm probably gonna use CyberChef to decode this command. That's what I'm assuming. And it says McSkitty knows that encoded PowerShell commands are generally base64 encoded and can be decoded using tools such as CyberChef, since the command might contain some sensitive information and therefore must not be submitted on any public portal. McSkitty spins up her own instance of CyberChef hosted locally. McSkitty started by pasting the encoded part of the command in the input pane in CyberChef, like so here, and I assume that we would probably have to do that ourselves, but I guess put this in your CyberChef if you have a local one spun up, or you can just use the command line. Like you can use like base64 to code or something on like Linux machine or in PowerShell. Since it is a base64 encoded command, McSkitty used two recipes named from base64 and the code text on the left pane. Note that McSkitty configured the code text to UTF 16 LE since 1200. Yeah, 1200 since it is the encoding used by PowerShell by base64. All right, and that's what it looks like here. The result provided a sigh of relief to McSkitty, who had feared that Christmas had been ruined. So someone had come in to help McSkitty and the team rescue their defenses, but who? Okay, so I'm gonna spin up, I guess, CyberChef and plug that in there so we can see what it looks like. All right, so this is the coded output here. Install dash Windows Update dash accept all dash auto reboot. So let's flip back over. Villain or hero? McSkitty further analyzed the secret hero and came to a startling revelation. The credentials for the script in the machines that ran the Windows updates were outdated. Someone brute forced the systems and fixed the credentials after successfully logging in. This was evidence from the fact that each executed PowerShell command was preceded by a successful login from the same source IP, causing failed logins over the past few days. And what's even more startling it was Glitch who accessed ADM-01, which sounds like an administrator machine, and fixed the credentials after McSkitty confirmed who owned the IP address. All right, and this is what they're seeing here. So I guess if we flip back over to this here and 855. So if we go back down here and okay, they went back over to service admin and authentication. So let's go ahead and get rid of these filters and add these other ones. So username, so user, okay, here we go. And then is, was it service admin? Yes, okay, service underscore admin. All right, and then the next one was the category authentication. Okay, there we go. Refresh. All right, so let's scroll down here and select the one they are looking at probably, or there's a couple of them in there. So let's see here. Yeah, 85503. So looks like this one here. Oh, it's this one right here. Yep. All right, so you go ahead and take a look at this here for more information. I'm gonna go ahead and just minimize this and continue on. All right, so we're back to the 6802 events or hits there. This meant that the people of Wareville had misunderstood Glitch, who was trying to help shore up the defenses, but if Glitch was the only one helping the defenses, who was trying to sabotage it? Was it the mayor who informed the SOC about the suspicious PowerShell commands? Just like alerts aren't always what they seem in a SOC. So was the case here at Wareville with people? As hard as it was to differentiate between a TP and a FP, so was the case with the mayor and Glitch. However, McSkitty can perhaps use the evidence-based deduction skills learned in a SOC to make the difference easier for the people of Wareville. All right, so question time. Go ahead and try to answer these questions yourself, and then we will come back to the video to continue on and find these answers. Let's go ahead and take a look at these questions. What is the name of the account causing all the failed login attempts? Well, we saw that it was this service underscore admin account. All right, and we saw that if you go back to our filters and our information here that's displayed, you can see that information here. All these failed login attempts coming from the service underscore admin. How many failed login attempts were observed? So we can go to failure. Let's just filter this value. Authentication already in there. And looks like 6791 appears to be what we're looking for. Let's make sure. Okay. So this should be what the answer is. And let's try without the comma in there. There we go. What is the IP address of Glitch? Well, we know that it was Glitch that was in there changing the credentials, right, on that admin machine here. Yeah, ADM01. All right, so if we go back over here and yeah, it says it was Glitch who accessed the ADM-01 and fixed the credentials after McSkitty confirmed who the owner of the IP address was. And that IP address we already saw is going to be this 10.0.255.1 IP address, and that's what I plugged in here. When did Glitch successfully log on to admin01? They want the format here. So let's go ahead and filter out with this. So filter this in only. And let's go ahead and just minimize all this stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here. Okay, so this appears to be it here. Let's get rid of this at sign here. This looks like, okay, so let's try this. Yep. What is the decoded command executed by glitch to fix the systems of Wareville? Well, we saw that in CyberChef this here, so I'm going to copy this over, paste it in. There we go. It says if you enjoyed this task, feel free to check out the investigating with Elk 101 room. So check that out if you're interested. And that completes this particular task. Awesome. So that was really good. We went through and went through the actual investigation process, building up some context, taking a look at log analysis, correlation, things like that, building up context around each individual event, contacting the system admin and verifying with them this activity of what's going on here. So that was pretty enjoyable. Also, if you liked the video, if you liked the content, if you just learned something here, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Hit that notification bell so you know every time I post and upload a new video. Comment below on your thoughts and opinions over this task here. What did you think of it? Have you done this in the real world? All that good stuff. As always, thank you all for taking time to watch my video. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next one.